The Alpha species ruled the galaxy with an iron hand. Every planet they touched fell under their control. No species dared challenge them. Their ships were huge, armed with weapons that could destroy entire cities in minutes. Their warriors were strong, fast, and smart. Every move they made inspired fear. Every sound of their engines made worlds tremble. They were called the Alpha, the first, the unbeatable, the invincible, and no one could stop them. Humans lived on a small blue planet, quiet and weak compared to the Alpha. They had small ships, few weapons, and no armies that could fight the Alpha directly. The galaxy laughed at them. Alien species called humans fragile, unworthy, almost invisible. Even the Alpha thought humans were a joke. On one Alpha world, the capital of the mighty Alpha Empire. The rulers sat on tall chairs in a great hall, their eyes cold, their voices like thunder. They spoke of the humans as insects, unimportant, and yet strange thoughts crossed their minds. Some wondered why humans did not run, why they continued to live and grow despite knowing the Alpha watched. Far from this capital, in a quiet human city, people went about their lives, building homes, schools, and small ships. Children laughed, unaware of the danger above, but the leaders of humans knew the truth. They watched the Alpha fleets with concern. They studied every move, every pattern, every weakness they could find. They could not fight the Alpha directly, not yet, but they would prepare. In the shadows, human scientists and strategists worked together, creating tools, weapons, and ships that were small but fast. They trained young pilots who could think faster than machines. They prepared traps in space, hiding in asteroid belts and sending false signals to confuse the Alpha. Every night, humans dreamed of survival, and every night, their fear turned into determination. On the Alpha capital, the rulers continued their discussions. They spoke of expansion, of conquering more worlds, of crushing humans once and for all. They did not see the humans as a threat yet. Their arrogance blinded them. The Alpha species had never lost. They believed they never could. Their empire stretched for hundreds of light years, and still they wanted more. Meanwhile, on Earth, a young human commander named Ryan stood on the observation deck of a small human warship. He watched the stars and the distant Alpha fleets. His heart raced. He knew the Alpha would come. He knew humans were weak now, but he also knew something the Alpha did not. Humans could think differently. Humans could adapt. Humans could surprise. He turned to his team, a small group of pilots and scientists. They were the best humans had. They would test the first plan against the Alpha. The humans' first target was a small mining station on the edge of Alpha-controlled space. No Alpha ruler paid attention to it. They thought it unimportant, but Ryan and his team saw it as a perfect place to strike. The station held a small energy source that, if destroyed cleverly, could create confusion in the Alpha fleets. They worked quietly, building explosives, sending false signals, and planning every move carefully the night before the attack. Ryan looked at the stars and thought of the stories humans told about heroes. He remembered the old tales of humans fighting against impossible odds. He felt a strange calm, a sense of destiny. The Alpha species may have been invincible for hundreds of years, but humans had something they did not: hope, courage, and the will to fight. As the Alpha fleets moved slowly through space, searching for new worlds to conquer, they did not notice the small human warship hiding behind a giant asteroid. Ryan gave the signal. The team moved quickly, silently. Their small ships flew through the shadows, placing explosives and hacking the station's systems. The Alpha sensors never detected them, not yet. The first strike was ready. Humans waited, their hearts beating fast. The Alpha would never expect it. The quietest and smallest species in the galaxy was about to make its first move. The tension was high. The stars around them seemed to hold their breath, and far away, in the Alpha capital, the rulers spoke of humans only as a minor annoyance, unaware that the first whispers of fear had already begun. This was the Alpha worlds, mighty and powerful, and yet in the darkness, humans were ready. Humans were patient, and humans were about to show that even the invincible could be challenged. The galaxy would never be the same again. The human ships moved like shadows through the asteroid belt, small and silent, almost invisible. Ryan's team held their breath as they approached the mining station. Every second counted. The Alpha species had no idea what was coming. They thought humans would hide, run, or surrender, but humans never ran. They adapted. They struck. The station looked ordinary, boring, almost empty. But humans knew its secret. Inside the station was a small energy core, powerful enough to disrupt Alpha communications. The humans' plan was simple: destroy the core and make it look like an accident, confuse the Alpha fleets, give humans a chance to learn, to fight, to survive. Ryan's fingers flew over the controls, guiding his ship carefully. Behind him, pilots followed silently, their eyes fixed on the station, their hearts beating fast. They remembered the stories of Alpha warriors, stories of monsters that destroyed entire cities. And yet here they were, a handful of humans, preparing to challenge the impossible. The first explosive was placed near the core. It was small, precise, designed not to destroy the station completely, just enough to send a signal, a warning, a message that humans were not afraid. The second team hacked the station's systems, ending fake commands. Lights flickered, alarms rang, confusion spread from the Alpha fleets. Sensors picked up something strange, small anomalies, signals that did not make sense. The Alpha commanders frowned. Their arrogance did not allow fear yet. They thought it a small mistake, a technical glitch. Humans could not do more than that. They were weak, fragile, but the humans worked fast. They moved to escape positions. Tiny ships darted between asteroids, hiding, disappearing. Ryan's heart pounded. He knew if the Alpha detected them, it would be over in seconds. Every move had to be perfect. Every breath counted. Then the first explosion hit, not massive, but enough. The station shook, alarms screamed, lights went out, the Alpha sensors went crazy, signals scrambled, fleets far away stopped, unable to communicate. Commanders shouted, trying to find the problem, but humans were already gone, like ghosts, leaving only the confusion behind. The Alpha species could not believe what happened. A species so small, so weak, could strike without being seen. Panic began in their ranks, their arrogance shattered in moments. For the first time, they realized humans were dangerous, unpredictable, clever. On Earth, in a small control room, humans watched the Alpha reaction. They celebrated quietly, a small victory, but Ryan knew this was only the beginning. The Alpha would retaliate, they would come for humans, and the real fight would start soon. This first strike was just a test, a lesson, a warning. The human success spread across colonies. Pilots told stories, engineers shared strategies. A new sense of hope filled their hearts. Humans had shown they could act, they could fight, they could change the game, even against the so-called invincible. In the Alpha capital, the rulers were furious. Their voices echoed through the hall demanding answers. Soldiers panicked. The pride of centuries cracked. They had never failed like this, never been surprised. And now, humans had done it. Just one small strike, one small group, and yet the effect was greater than any army could achieve. Ryan and his team returned to base, exhausted, but alive. The victory was small, but the lesson was clear. Humans had power, humans had courage, humans had a mind the Alpha could not predict. And this knowledge was more dangerous than any weapon. That night, the stars seemed different, brighter, full of possibilities. Humans looked at them and dreamed of freedom, of survival, of a future where no species could call themselves invincible. Somewhere far away, the Alpha species prepared for retaliation, unaware that humans were already ready. Learning, planning, growing. The first strike had changed something in the galaxy. Humans were no longer insignificant. The whispers of fear began to spread. A quiet tremor ran through the Alpha worlds, and humans knew this was only the start. The Alpha had met the first challenge, but the war for survival had just begun. Humans may have been small, fragile, underestimated, but they were clever, united, and ready. And even the invincible could be broken if they underestimated the will of a species that refused to die. The Alpha fleets moved like storms through space, their massive ships cutting across the stars, anger burning in their hearts. For the first time in centuries, they had been embarrassed. A small human strike had shaken their pride. The rulers would not allow it to happen again. On Earth, humans watched the movements of the Alpha fleets, their sensors picking up massive ships, much larger than anything humans had. The humans knew the Alpha would attack. They had expected it. Yet the scale of the retaliation shocked even the bravest. Ryan studied the data, trying to find weaknesses, trying to plan. The humans were small, fragile, yet they refused to hide. The first Alpha strike targeted a human colony on the outer rim, a mining world far from the core. Alpha ships arrived without warning, their weapons firing with deadly precision. Cities burned, explosions shook the ground. Panic spread among humans, families ran, soldiers fought desperately to defend what they could. Ryan and his pilots jumped into action, small ships darting through debris, dodging massive Alpha fire. Every human maneuver was precise, yet dangerous. Some ships were destroyed, pilots were lost, fear gripped the humans, but fear did not stop them, it sharpened them. It made them fight harder. On the Alpha command ships, leaders watched, confident, believing their superior strength would crush humans. But as they fired, human defenses activated, small but clever traps hidden in asteroid fields, automated drones that mirrored Alpha movements, sudden attacks from directions the Alpha had never considered. The humans were unpredictable. The battle raged for hours. Explosions lit the black of space. Ships collided. Some exploded, sending fragments into the void. Humans fought with everything they had, using strategy, courage, and intelligence. The Alpha warriors could not believe it. They had never been countered like this. The humans seemed chaotic, yet every move had purpose. Every strike had meaning. In the chaos, Ryan led a daring attack on an Alpha command ship. Small human ships darted between massive Alpha vessels, hitting weak points, hacking systems. The Alpha commanders were furious, shouting orders, trying to regain control, but humans moved faster than their calculations. They anticipated. They adapted. The outer colony was badly damaged, but humans saved what they could. Civilians were evacuated in small shuttles, pilots risking everything to carry them away. Every explosion reminded humans of their vulnerability, yet it also reminded them of their strength. The Alpha may have had power, but humans had heart, and heart could not be measured by size or weapons. As the battle continued, the Alpha realized something alarming. Humans were not just reacting, they were learning, adapting, exploiting weaknesses. What had begun as retaliation had turned into a struggle the Alpha could not fully control. Fear began to creep into their ranks, whispers among the commanders that humans might be more dangerous than they ever imagined. Back on Earth, humans celebrated small victories quietly. Every Alpha ship damaged was a message, every human life saved was proof. Ryan spoke to his team, his voice steady. This is only the beginning. We will survive, we will fight, we will show them humans are not weak. And yet, the Alpha retaliation was far from over. Massive fleets were moving toward human worlds, a wave of destruction that could crush entire colonies if humans were careless. The stakes were higher than ever, and humans had to act carefully. Every decision could mean life or death. The human colonies began coordinating, sharing strategies, creating small defensive networks, training pilots to anticipate Alpha movements. Engineers working day and night to strengthen ships, weapons, and defenses. Humans knew they could not win by brute force. They had to win with cleverness, unity, and courage. Meanwhile, in the Alpha capital, the rulers grew furious, anger clouding their judgment. They underestimated humans for the last time. Arrogance turned to desperation. Commanders were ordered to destroy every human world in the Outer Rim, but even as they prepared, humans had learned. And every Alpha plan was met with unpredictable human counters. The battle ended that day with heavy losses on both sides. Alpha forces returned to regroup. Humans tended to their wounded, counted their losses, and planned for the next wave. Humans knew the fight was far from over, but for the first time, they had proven something. They had survived, they had fought, and they had made the Alpha pause. For the first time in history, the invincible had met resistance. The galaxy watched, and humans learned that even the smallest spark could ignite a fire that might one day burn across the Alpha worlds themselves. The humans' hope grew. The Alpha's fear began to rise, and the war that would decide the fate of the galaxy was only just beginning. The galaxy was quiet now, but humans knew it was only a brief silence. The Alpha species was regrouping, massive fleets repaired, weapons recalibrated, and yet humans were not afraid. They had learned from the last attacks. They had seen the power of unity, and they were ready to fight together on Earth. Leaders from all human colonies gathered, a council of commanders, scientists, and strategists. The room was filled with tension and determination. Every human voice mattered, every idea counted. They shared reports of Alpha movements, analyzed their strengths and weaknesses, and planned a defense unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Ryan stood at the center, pointing to star maps projected across the room. We cannot fight them alone. We must unite all human colonies, share information, train together, move together. The Alpha may be stronger, but together, humans are unstoppable. His words sparked hope. Every face in the room lit with determination. Young pilots trained day and night. Older commanders shared tactics. Engineers worked tirelessly to improve ships, weapons, and shields. Humans built hidden stations, asteroid bases, and underground hangars. Everything was designed to confuse the Alpha. Every plan had a backup. Every ship had a purpose. The first coordinated strike was planned on an Alpha patrol near a resource-rich system. Humans knew the Alpha would not expect it. Their strength was in speed, surprise, and clever strategy. Small human ships moved like shadows, attacking from different directions, launching precise strikes and retreating before the Alpha could respond. The Alpha commanders were furious. Their fleet slowed, confused, alarms blaring. Their arrogance crumbled a little more each time humans struck. They could not understand how such a small species moved so effectively. The Alpha had faced wars before, countless rebellions, but humans were different, unpredictable, and smart. In the middle of the coordinated attack, Ryan led a team to disable an Alpha communications hub. Small drones slipped past massive defenses, wires and circuits hacked by human engineers. The Alpha ships lost coordination. Their attacks became random, chaotic. Humans exploited every weakness, striking where Alpha did not expect. Human colonies watched from safe distances, learning, cheering, ready to join the fight. Every victory was shared, every plan improved. Humans became a network, a single mind spread across worlds, connected by courage and purpose. Alpha had faced armies before, but never a species that moved as one, that thought as one, that fought as one. On the Alpha capital, tension grew, rulers shouted, commanders panicked, their calculations failed. Humans had no predictable pattern, no fear, only intelligence, courage, and unity. Whispers spread among Alpha soldiers, fear that humans might not just survive, but might actually win. For the first time, the invincible species felt uncertain. Back on Earth, Ryan addressed all human leaders. The Alpha may have power, but they have never faced humans united. If we fight together, we can protect our worlds. We can show the galaxy that humans are more than fragile. We are clever, strong, and determined. And so humans continued. Attacks grew bolder, strikes more precise, defenses tighter. Every colony contributed, every pilot risked life, every engineer worked day and night. Humans became more than survivors. They became warriors, thinkers, heroes. The galaxy slowly began to notice. Even neutral species watched, amazed at human unity. The first major victory came when humans trapped an Alpha fleet in a narrow asteroid field. The Alpha ships could not maneuver. Collisions occurred. Humans hit weak points, disabled weapons, captured supplies. The Alpha had to retreat, embarrassed and enraged. Humans celebrated quietly, knowing the war was far from over, but this victory proved they could fight, and they could win. That night, across human colonies, lights shone brighter than usual. Ships repaired, families reunited, pilots rested, engineers planned. Humans spoke of hope, of courage, of unity. Ryan looked at the stars, thinking of the future, thinking of the battles ahead, and smiled. Humans had found their strength, not in size, not in weapons, but in unity. The Alpha may return with greater force, their anger unmatched, their ships larger and deadlier, but humans had discovered something far more dangerous. A bond that could not be broken, a mind that could not be predicted, a spirit that refused to die. The galaxy had begun to respect humans, fear them, and wonder what they could do next. Humans had become a force, small but mighty, clever and courageous, united and unstoppable, and the Alpha worlds had learned. Do the first lesson of many. Never underestimate the will of humans, for even the invincible could fall when faced with unity, courage, and hope. Humans no longer waited. They struck first, the council had decided. Enough hiding, enough small victories. It was time for a counterattack, a plan so bold that even Ryan doubted it could succeed. And yet, every human knew they had to try. The target was an Alpha supply station, a massive complex orbiting a gas giant filled with weapons, fuel, and soldiers. Destroying it would cripple the Alpha fleets, slow their retaliation, and give humans a chance to expand defenses across colonies. The risk was enormous, the payoff greater. Small human ships assembled quietly in a nearby asteroid belt, each pilot aware of the danger, their hearts racing, every maneuver rehearsed, every strike planned. They moved like shadows, invisible until the moment of attack. The Alpha sensors failed to detect them. The humans had learned, adapted, become unpredictable. Ryan led the vanguard, his ship weaving through asteroid debris, laser cannons ready, drones scanning the station's perimeter. Every second mattered. Behind him, young pilots followed, some barely trained, but every one of them determined to fight, to survive, to prove that humans could overcome even the invincible. The first shots fired were not meant to destroy, but to confuse. Explosions on the station's surface made Alpha soldiers run. Alarms blared, lights flickered, humans attacked from unexpected angles. Drones disabled turrets, hacking systems, sending false messages to Alpha commanders. The station descended into chaos. Inside the station, Alpha soldiers panicked. The human strike was fast, precise, and unpredictable. They could not comprehend how such a small species moved with so much intelligence. Confusion turned into fear, fear into mistakes, and mistakes into openings for humans to exploit. Ryan's team focused on the central hub, the core that controlled weapons and communications. Small drones attached explosives while others hacked systems. Alarms screamed. Alpha soldiers shouted, trying to regain control, but humans moved faster, anticipating every move, striking where Alpha did not expect. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the station. Part of the core destroyed, communications cut, weapons disabled. Alpha fleets far away received garbled signals. Unable to act, the human counterattack was working, faster and more precise than anyone had dared to imagine. In the chaos, civilians trapped inside the station were rescued by human teams, shuttles moving in and out, piloted by brave humans risking life and death. Some ships were lost, some pilots gone, but the mission continued. Every human knew that this was not only a fight for survival, but for honor, for unity, for proof that humans could stand against the Alpha. From orbit, human colonies watched, learning, cheering, inspired. The counterattack showed them what humans could do together. A small species against the invincible, and yet winning, not through brute force, but intelligence, courage, and coordination. The Alpha species could not believe what they saw. Their station, massive and fortified, crippled by a handful of humans. Their arrogance shattered, commanders argued, soldiers panicked, and for the first time, they realized humans were not just clever. They were dangerous, unpredictable, unstoppable. After hours of fighting, the station lay in ruins, fires burning, alarms silenced. Humans pulled back, leaving destruction but taking knowledge, taking hope, taking proof that they could win, even against the largest fleets. The Alpha had underestimated humans, one time too many, and it would cost them. Ryan returned to base, exhausted but alive. The team celebrated quietly. Losses were heavy, but the victory mattered more. Every human had learned, every colony had seen, and the galaxy had begun to take notice. Humans had moved from survivors to warriors, from clever fighters to legends in the making. That night, across human colonies, messages were sent, plans shared, strategies improved. Humans were no longer scattered, weak, or vulnerable. They were united, strong, and dangerous. And even the Alpha fleets, the invincible, the feared, had to admit, humans were a force the galaxy had never seen. The counterattack had proven something greater than victory. It had proven that humans could challenge the impossible, that even the strongest, the largest, and the most feared species could be challenged by intelligence, courage, and unity, and the galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. Humans had taken the first real step toward survival, toward dominance, toward proving that no species was invincible, and somewhere in the Alpha Command, commanders whispered in disbelief, fear creeping into their minds. Humans were not weak, humans were not fragile. Humans were the storm that had come for them, and the war was far from over. Humans had tasted victory, yet the Alpha species was far from defeated. Massive fleets gathered near the outer colonies, their weapons glinting like deadly stars. The Alpha were furious, determined to crush humans once and for all, and yet humans did not tremble. They had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. Ryan stood on the command bridge of the flagship, staring at the star maps, calculating movements, predicting attacks. His mind raced, yet calm. He knew the next battle would decide everything. If humans lost now, colonies could fall. If they won, the galaxy itself would remember their courage. The Alpha attack came without warning. Massive ships appearing like black comets. Lasers fired across space. Explosions shook human defenses. Alarms blared across colonies. Every human heart pounded with fear, and yet, courage remained. Fear was present, but it did not control them. It sharpened them. Human ships darted between Alpha FE. Small but fast, using asteroid fields, hidden bases, and clever maneuvers to survive. Drones hacked enemy weapons. Human pilots predicted movements, striking before the Alpha could react. Every move carefully coordinated. A dance of death across the stars. In the middle of the battle, a massive Alpha dreadnought appeared, larger than any ship humans had ever seen. Its weapons capable of destroying entire colonies. It moved with deadly precision, crushing smaller ships in its path, and for the first time, humans felt the true power of the Alpha. Ryan knew this was the moment, the turning point. He gathered the best pilots, forming a strike team to disable the dreadnought. Small ships moved like shadows around the massive vessel. Lasers fired, drones attached explosives, hacking into shields and weapons. The Alpha dreadnought roared, systems failing one by one, yet it fought back with immense power. Humans inside the strike team risked everything, their ships shaking, engines overheating, lasers bouncing off the dreadnought's armor. Yet they pressed forward, courage stronger than fear, determination sharper than the enemy's weapons. The moment felt eternal, time slowed, and yet humans moved, adapted, struck again. Finally, a critical hit exploded on the dreadnought's core. Alarms screamed, systems went offline, weapons died. The massive Alpha ship drifted, powerless. The humans had done the impossible. They had taken down the most feared ship in the galaxy, their bravery unmatched, their unity unstoppable. As the Alpha fleets watched, confusion spread, morale dropped. Soldiers whispered doubts, commanders argued, the Alpha arrogance cracked, fear creeping in where it had never been. Humans had proved something no species had ever dared. Even the invincible could be challenged, even the mighty could be defeated. Across human colonies, celebrations were quiet but heartfelt. Pilots hugged engineers, families reunited, everyone aware of the cost, yet proud of the courage displayed. The turning point had been reached. Humans were no longer victims, no longer prey. They were warriors, clever and brave, capable of striking the strongest. Ryan addressed all commanders through the communication network. Today, we have shown the galaxy what humans are. We are clever, we are strong, and we will not be defeated. The Alpha may return, they may strike again, but we will be ready, united, and unbroken. His words inspired hope, spreading like fire across colonies. In the Alpha command, whispers became shouts, commanders demanded revenge, rulers bellowed orders. Yet the fear lingered, a crack in their confidence. The turning point had shifted. The humans were no longer small and weak. They were a force, unpredictable, dangerous, unstoppable. As night fell across human colonies, lights shone brighter, stars reflecting hope. Ships repaired, pilots rested, engineers worked. Humans shared stories of bravery, teaching the next generation, preparing for what was to come. The turning point had been achieved, yet the final battles awaited. The destiny of humans in the galaxy still uncertain. The galaxy watched. The Alpha feared, humans celebrated, hope alive, courage tested, unity stronger than ever. The turning point was clear, the war had changed, and the humans who once hid in shadows had stepped into the light, ready to face the final challenge, ready to claim their place among the stars. And somewhere, beyond the edge of the galaxy, the Alpha species realized, for the first time, humans were not a threat to underestimate. Humans were not fragile. Humans were not prey. Humans were the storm that had come, and the final battle was coming soon. The fate of the galaxy hung in balance. The invincible had been challenged and the humans had risen. The galaxy held its breath, humans ready for the final confrontation. The Alpha species gathered their remaining fleets, massive ships shadowing planets, weapons charging, commanders shouting, determination burning in their eyes. They believed this battle would destroy humans once and for all. On Earth, human colonies braced, families watched from shelters, engineers finished last repairs, pilots climbed into cockpits. Ryan stood at the flagship bridge staring at the enemy, his mind clear, his heart heavy with responsibility. He knew losses would come, but humans would not surrender. They never had, they never would. The battle began with a roar, lasers lighting the dark space like fireworks of death. Explosions shattered silence. Human ships darted between fire, asteroid belts, and debris. Alpha ships fired relentlessly, yet humans moved with intelligence, precision, courage, striking where enemies were weakest. Ryan led the strike team toward the Alpha flagship, the largest ship in history, a moving fortress with weapons capable of destroying entire colonies. Yet humans did not hesitate, their unity and cleverness the only advantage they needed. Every maneuver calculated, every strike coordinated. As they approached, the flagship unleashed a storm of fire, lasers tearing apart human ships, explosions shaking the strike team. Yet they pressed forward, drones disabling weapons, hacking systems, small ships weaving through fire like ghosts. The Alpha flagship's shields flickered, sparks flying from massive hits. Inside the flagship, Alpha commanders screamed at crews. Nothing worked, their systems failing faster than expected. Fear spread among soldiers, whispers of doubt replacing orders. For the first time, the Alpha realized humans were more than clever, more than fast, more than brave. Humans were unstoppable. Ryan's ship reached the flagship core, drones attaching explosives, hacking controls, alarms blaring, fires erupting. The Alpha flagship shuddered under precise human strikes, crew panicked, shields collapsing, weapons dying, the mighty fortress weakened, vulnerable, the turning point complete, humans pressed every advantage, smaller fleets attacking flanks, engineers guiding pilots, civilians aiding from safe stations, every human working together. Courage stronger than fear, intelligence sharper than weapons, the Alpha could not recover, their invincible fleet now in chaos. Finally, Ryan triggered the final strike. The flagship core erupted in a massive explosion, fire and debris scattering across space. Alpha fleets shattered, ships destroyed or disabled, their commanders stunned, soldiers frozen. The Invincible had fallen. Humans had won. Human colonies erupted in celebration, ships returning, families cheering, engineers exhausted, pilots smiling through tears. Humans had done the impossible. They had erased the Alpha threat, not through brute force alone, but through unity, intelligence, courage, and determination. Ryan looked at the stars, remembering the battles, the losses, the sacrifices, every human who had fought, every life given. Yet the victory was theirs, hard-earned and brilliant. The galaxy would remember. Humans were no longer the weak, the fragile, the prey. They were a force, legendary and unstoppable. The remaining Alpha ships fled, humiliated, defeated, their arrogance shattered. Commanders whispered in disbelief. Their species would never forget. The humans had changed the galaxy. A new era had begun, one where humans were respected, feared, and admired. Across the colonies, humans rebuilt, stronger than ever, learning from the war, teaching the next generation, sharing stories of bravery and unity, hope alive, courage ingrained, the few too. Bright with possibilities, humans had proven themselves not just survivors, but warriors, protectors, legends. And in the quiet of space, Ryan whispered, "We fought, we survived. We conquered, not because we were the strongest, but because we were united, clever, and brave. The galaxy will remember this day, the day humans rose, and the Invincible fell." The stars shone brighter that night, reflecting hope and victory. Humans gazed upward, knowing their place among the stars was earned. The Alpha species defeated, peace returning. Yet humans remained vigilant, ready for what the future might bring. The galaxy had learned a lesson, one that would echo across generations. Never underestimate humans, for even the most powerful, the most feared, the Alpha, could fall when faced with unity, courage, intelligence, and determination. And so the humans stood, victorious, legendary, and eternal. A species once small, now remembered as unstoppable. The storm that had come and changed the galaxy forever.